Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So over the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing some pretty big announcements around crypto adoption, obviously, and most of that is in line with policy, regulatory moves, how we can support the industry. You know, a lot of it has been around the US, but recently Australia, specifically the Australian Treasury, uploaded a statement on developing an innovative Australian digital asset industry, the official government website. Australia hopes to spur innovation and increase competition by providing certainty to the crypto industry. So it kind of feels as if the race towards being a crypto hub is still here, but more so, the race towards regulatory clarity for crypto is now front and center. The US is definitely getting in line with this. The UK has always been in line with this. The UAE is moving forward as well. And now we see Australia moving forward very fast on this as well. Now, when I think Australia, I think about a recent announcement that did hit this space in a big way. And I question if you guys are thinking the same thing. You probably are by the title of this video, but yeah, we are thinking about the breaking news around the Australian stablecoin AUDD and how it's launching on Hedera, the HBAR network, right, in Q3 of this year. But also, they're testing Ripple's XRP enabled on-demand liquidity for cross-border transactions, and even XDC network AUDD partnership targeting trade finance and the Fireblocks integration, which is institutional grade adoption around Fireblocks because they're like a huge institutional player. But this all got posted from Generation Infinity. Now, this is also with Navati. This is actually from the Navati website. And what's interesting about that is we know that this goes way back to even 2023, where we saw a post from Ripple highlighting the next evolution in global payments. Navati brings stablecoins to the Australian market, and this is with AUDD. Now, even then, we saw that adoption around stablecoins and digital assets and CBDCs was really kind of becoming a big talking subject in a lot of these areas, including, of course, Australia. Australia has been at the forefront of crypto adoption as well for a very long time. I believe back in 2021, because I actually don't have this opened up in this video clip that I'm going to be playing, but there was a post made back in 2021 with Hedera where it was basically talking about powering these new cities, basically 15-minute cities, if you will. And I know that we don't like 15-minute cities, but even then it was a big deal because Hedera was being spotlighted from Australia. And even now we know that Hedera is a big player in Australia. I'll get to that here in a second, but the main focus here are these three: HBAR, XRP, and XDC. I think that these are three big players that I think everyone should have a little bit of HBAR, XRP, and even XDC in your portfolio, just because of how big these three are becoming, the utility around these three, and how great the future is looking for all three of these projects. But let's actually get into some of the connections. Number one, XDC. So big shout out to Generation Infinity as well. But XDC Network joins Digital Economy Council of Australia as a foundational member. Now, Ripple and Hedera are also a part of this, alongside of Immutable, Kraken, and MasterCard, and 100+ other members. However, XDC Network uniquely stands out as DECA's sole partner. Now, DECA offers exclusive partnership opportunities that go beyond traditional business memberships. These partnerships are designed to provide enhanced visibility, engagement, and strategic positioning within the digital economy landscape. Partnership with DECA integrates your brand deeply into the core of our activities, allowing the greater influence across our key initiatives. And, XDC has been making its name known in Australia for a while, but this was back in August of just last year. Now, to build upon this, we also saw a big update from the XDC network back in February of this year, where we have XDC Network's foundational partnership with DECA, DEC Australia, continues into 2025, supporting the Web3 peak professional bodies expansion into the digital economy in Australia with a key sponsorship of their landmark DLT-enabled summit. Delving into 6 key themes, the free online event will offer cutting-edge insights into how DLT is reshaping trade finance, digital assets, payments, tokenization, decentralized finance, and data ownership. And again, XDC was a big player behind this. Obviously, they were included in this. And it's very interesting because the trade finance panel within this, it got a big spotlight as Web3 has made tremendous strides in trade document tokenization, title transference, instant and atomic payments, and trade finance distribution opportunities for the continuum of SMEs to large corporations. Now, mind you, who's the big player around that? It's XDC. There really isn't any other big players around trade finance outside of XDC in terms of public blockchains. So I do find this very interesting. And again, it shows you that XDC is making their name known in Australia even before this was a big deal. But on top of that, we also saw another big update around Australia. And this was back in August. Again, around August of 2024, we witnessed XDC really take on the Australian market in a big way. And a lot of that has to do with Sean of the Web3, which big shout out to Sean of the Web3. He's been absolutely killing it. But we have here the XDC network will be at the International Trade and Finance in Digital Economy Conference. And again, this was around the Australian market with some big names like ANZ, for an example. And this was all talking about the digitization and in practice, basically around paperless trade. Again, trade finance is like the big deal here when it comes to, XDC. We know that's not the only selling point, obviously, around XDC and why people should look into XDC, but it's definitely a big one. And I think that the trade finance industry definitely goes overlooked in this space. It's trillions of dollars still. And yeah, we definitely have to, stay focused on what XDC is doing. Now, outside of XDC, because we've got to remember, we're talking about XDC or XRP and HBAR. When it comes to XRP, we mainly look at what Ripple has been doing. Specifically, we go back to just February 14th, where Rahul Advani, the public policy at Ripple, did say this week's APAC Policy Digest is an Australian special with Blockchain APAC and DECA. We also have regulatory updates from a few big players, obviously, in Australia as well. But this was a big one because we know that they were at this major digest, basically like a summit, if you will, around public policy around Australia to really kind of adopt and push forward on, digitalization through this tech. But on top of that, we also saw a big update back in 2023 where Ripple opened up a liquidity hub to Brazil and Australia. This was also a big one because of the fact that we continued to see the liquidity hub expanding rapidly. But also remember a lot of the partnerships that Ripple does have in place, like for an example, Flash Payments, which is a huge name in Australia. They're one of the biggest ones out there, and they're actually utilizing on-demand liquidity. They're partnered up with Ripple on a lot of their initiatives around, payments. So that's a big one. And then also we did get a big update back in November of 2023 where we did see Ripple broaden remittances between Africa, Gulf states, UK, and also Australia. So, Ripple definitely did set the flag down in Australia for a while. They've always been around the Australian market. They know how big the Australian market is as well. But it just kind of shows you that all of the big utility players, it kind of feels as if they have, a flag planet everywhere around the world, and they're prepared accordingly for any big move being made. And Hedera is one that has to get the spotlight here because although XRP and XDC has a lot of connections back to Australia, like I said, Hedera is winning this. Okay, and I'm not trying to put it into like a competition sort of idea here. I just think that Hedera has their name known much more in Australia. It goes all the way back to 2021, like I said. But let's actually look at a few of the major announcements. Number one was this announcement with OpenZeppelin. So OpenZeppelin, a recognized leader in Web3 security and auditing, has integrated its Defender and contract services, enabling ANZ, which is one of the biggest banks in Australia, they're the second largest bank, to secure its this is their Australian dollar digital coin, stablecoin, on the Hedera network. This was a massive announcement. It still is huge today. Now we have, as an immediate result of this, ANZ Bank can further test its stablecoin on the low-cost, high-throughput, and carbon-negative Hedera network. They will also evaluate using the OpenZeppelin contracts library for secure token and access control templates for future use cases. And we have, so why did ANZ AU decide to secure their Australian dollar digital coin stablecoin on Hedera? Well, it's 1,000 times cheaper than Ethereum. 15 times more performance increase over Ethereum, and then carbon negative as well. Now, we also know later on, Hedera did launch the Hedera stablecoin studio, which is a huge one. I believe that a lot of that kind of changed this announcement. Not too sure what's been happening with ANC, but I do know that they still are connected with Hedera. On top of this, we also have, of course, the announcement of the AUDD. We already knew that this was a big one. We talked about it in the beginning of this video with this announcement here, but we still have to bring it up because it is a big one. And Hedera definitely is, spotlighted here, because if we go back, they're launching on Hedera in Q3 of 2025. But on top of that, we also have this announcement here from Hedera back in April of 2024, so last year. They did announce that Hedera has become a member of the Australia's leading blockchain industry body, Blockchain AUS, joining Algo Foundation, Binance Australia, Coinbase, MasterCard, and other leading institutions at the forefront. Now, mind you, this is basically DECA. But on top of that, we also have another big announcement, which happened back in 2023, which was major banks like RBA Info require an institutional grade network from the perspective of both tech and governance. That's why Not Centralized piloted its CBDC solution for Australia's central bank on Hedera.
The ability to do this and to program the money, to program this collateral with tokenization and in the stablecoin form that it is, that's the big unlock that we see is really interesting. And then you add that layer of CBDC underneath with proof of reserves from a central bank issued digital currency. It's quite a powerful solution. The ability to do.
And yeah, I mean, this is exactly why Hedera gets adopted in most cases, because of the overall tech behind it, the efficiencies behind it as well. I just think that when we look for, if we zoom out and really kind of look at all of the announcements over time around Hedera from Australia, from even the UK as well, and even in the US market, Hedera is absolutely killing it. But so is XDC and so is XRP. So these three are an absolute massive focus point. They should be, at least for anyone that's looking into utility. And to really kind of wrap this up, I gotta mention, of course, because I did not forget, I know that a lot of you out there are probably saying, well, Nick just forgot one of the biggest ones. In 2022, Hedera Council member FPOS Australia joined with BPay Australia and New Payments Platform Australia to form Australian Payments Plus. They are now a member of the Hedera Council, and they're also building out on Hedera some interesting things. We've been talking about it here and there, but this is a huge one, because we know how big these names are. FPOS, for an example, we talked about them for many years. They are one of the biggest payment giants in and around Australia. But Australia Payments Plus, if you guys haven't done a little bit of research on Australian Payments Plus, you should. Because it's Australia's entire infrastructure around payments. Guys, this is a huge announcement. And it really kind of puts a spotlight on how big Hedera has become in specific areas like Australia. So at the end of the day, these three giants, with Australia completely flipping now and looking into this to accelerate adoption of digital assets and this technology, you have to focus on HBAR, XRP, and XDC. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.